Lords fans.
Ding! What was that?
What was that?
Holy crap!
Oh, I don't know.
Did you see that?
Is there a fly in here?
Oh!
What?
Did you see that?
We are the Cult Lords, and we are here to do another movie review for you.
Let's see what this one sounds like. Ooh, that one sounds good.
Compared to your head. Oh, wow. Those are off. Okay.
I'm going to have to get tuned.
So we're here to do a movie review for The Flash. We appreciate you stopping by. If you are new to our channel, please hit subscribe. Trying to build up here. Also,
slowly climbing.
Slowly climbing. We're trying to move like The Flash. Hit the like button for this video, and then tell us in the comments what you thought of this movie, and if you agree with what we thought of this movie. And if you just subscribed and mention it in the comments that you just subscribed, we'll give you a shout out in a future movie review.
You will be permanently encased in time in one of our videos.
And if you got your own YouTube channel, maybe we'll show a little video of some of what you do.
Partner with us.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. Now, Dane.
Yes.
The Flash. We're going to talk about that today, but as many of our viewers know, we always like to pour ourselves a drink to talk about the movies.
Some thematic beverage.
Yeah, well, not always a thematic beverage, but
or bourbon.
Yes. So
this one, it was Mercury. What is Mercury, by the way? What is that's the
god of speed.
Right, god of speed. So I've got Mercurius.
Oh.
Corn whiskey from Sweden.
Oh. Corn whiskey?
I want to see. We're going to see what this guy thinks of this particular beverage, because neither one of us have ever tried it before. So,
corn whiskey.
Corn whiskey.
That's interesting.
So
from Sweden.
The island of Haven. So I want to see what you think. It's thick. It's probably sweet.
Have you tried this yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
This is when the camera focuses in on JR.
Well, maybe. We'll see.
It's probably sweet. I mean, it's corn whiskey, which is rye in some way. You know, rye has
It's
corn.
good.
That's what I assumed.
It's good.
It was going to be good.
Yeah.
So, well, hearty recommendation on this one, but it came with a wax top, which, of course, I had to pre-peel. But
yeah.
It's kind of a cool bottle. It looks kind of like an alchemy bottle from, looks like science lab.
Looks like Elf or something, you know.
Yeah, but you know those classic, bottles you get in science labs?
Yeah. Oh, the beaker?
Yes, it looks like a beaker.
Yeah. 45% alcohol. So that is what? 90 proof? It's pretty.
It's
you know what? I'm feeling it in my chest.
It's potable.
Feeling it down in my plums.
In your plums?
In my plums, yeah.
I can feel it down in my plums. They're getting a nice bluish hue. Getting ready to take them to the farmer's market. Special 2 plums for 1.
Plums! This one definitely has some fumes coming out of my nose.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know,
that's good.
It's not bad.
Good stuff, you know.
It's not bad.
We'll drink this in a flash. So.
Probably not. I'm going to go ahead and continue while I check.
All right.
45.6% alcohol.
Well, viewers, if you have not seen this movie yet, I have a warning for you. Spoilers!
Danger, Will Robinson,
We're going to go into heavy spoilers here. Talk about what happened in this movie.
Avert your eyes.
So,
earmuffs.
Don't want to hear the spoilers before you watch this movie, hit pause, go watch the movie in a flash, and then come back and then watch this review with us. So, good to know. All right, Ding.
In a flash. What's up next?
Yep. So,
chop chop.
So, before we get into the movie, we always like to feel, what does the general population feel about it?
The legions.
We like to see what the Rotten Tomato scores have.
Bring out the tomatoes!
Now, you have not seen the Rotten Tomato scores yet, correct?
No, resisted it like the plague.
Okay. So, take a guess what the critics thought of this.
82.
82. And what do you think the fans thought of this?
94.
94. Well, my friend, you would be very wrong.
What?
Because
on all counts, I'm wrong. All right.
The critics gave it a 65.
Holy crap, Batman!
Yeah. And then the fans gave it an 84.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you weren't too far off from what the fans thought, but yeah, the critics panned it. Right.
I'm surprised about that with the critics. But.
Yeah. So, but that's not what's important.
Sure.
What's important are what the cult lords think about this movie. And we just had our scores flown in from our accounting firm, Toloit and Douche.
Yes.
Larry somewhere is back there.
Under lock and key.
Under lock and key.
Bodyguard walked him in.
Walked it in.
Handed them over personally. This was Larry this time. It's not Bob.
Oh, it's always Larry. Larry's our main guy, our main contact.
It's not Rich.
Toloit and Douche. So,
all
right.
Or Joe.
So let's go ahead and.
All right, let's reveal these babies.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
What?
Not a flash in the pan. I put flash in the pan.
We were wondering if that was going to happen. This one seemed too obvious, but 9-0, 8-1.
8-1. Yep.
All right. Well. Put the brakes on when that happens.
Big
all right. You went low. You were the critics this time. Well, I mean, in the range, you were the critic.
I give it a B-. I mean, the Flash. He's just, to me, he's not. Which I think DC did a good job of this. Actually, he alone is not a big draw to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wasn't a big Flash reader.
Because he can't fly.
Well, I mean, he's got a cool power. And then if you ever watch the animated stuff, you know what I mean? The animated DC stuff. He's funny.
Tactically, we'll have multiple objectives, so we'll need to split into teams.
Dibs on the Amazon.
So, but, the fact that they brought in cameos and actively, a Batman.
Yeah.
I'll say a Batman for now.
You're.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
And then actively, but they had cameos of Wonder Woman, other Batman,
right? Aquaman.
Superman, Aquaman.
Well, Superman. Oh, that's right.
Right.
They made other versions of Superman too.
Other versions of Superman.
I know you're going to talk about that later.
We'll get to that, but I mean, the fact that they brought all these people in, I think, kind of helped, kind of make the movie more interesting, right? So,
yeah. And never mind the fact that his alternate himself. So they brought like multiple Flashes, multiple Batmans, multiple Superman. Introduced Supergirl, and I'm assuming she's going to be, because that was a powerful character. I really liked her, and I thought it's too bad she didn't go further.
I don't know if she's the actual Supergirl. I mean, she didn't say her name was that, but, it is Kara Zor-El.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's Supergirl or not, but...
Because it did sound like they gave her the full Kryptonite name and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Krypton name. So.
Oh, I mean, she's Kryptonian, definitely. Yeah. But... this movie starts off where, his dad is about to go to trial.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough evidence to save him, so he goes to Bruce Wayne, played by Ben Affleck at this point.
Right, right.
And is asking for, here's some footage, but the footage, doesn't really show his face. Can you, kind of crack this code and get a better...
He fixes it for him.
Yeah.
He whips out his Bat computer and fixes the video for him. And that's the kickoff, right? He said he has to go back and, basically figure out a way to get his dad out of jail.
Well, but no matter what...
his name, I should say.
Even if he clears his dad's name, he still doesn't have his mom.
That's true. Mom got killed.
He wants to go back and try to avert his mom getting killed.
Right. Well, he doesn't. Although he inadvertently discovers he can do that. Right?
Hi, Mom.
Right.
And he finds out that there's really only one world where his mom is alive.
Yeah.
Or
this is the first time the DC universe has expanded into the meta universe.
Yes.
And and to your point that Flash is somewhat limited, it's like, oh wait, he's the first DC superhero that can go interdimensional now.
Right.
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 Because Superman's never done that before, right? He's never gone into another dimension. He's always he's done time stuff.
Not in the movies.
Maybe the what's the one that Zod got imprisoned in?
They were sending them to a different dimension, right?
But I guess that was more technology-based dimension versus like, you got your powers and you can just run really fast and suddenly you're in like watching every universe around you.
Right, and you're like, oh, let's pick the universe.
Yeah, so it was like a streaming channel. I want to go this way.
So he goes to the universe where his mother is alive.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of runs into himself, right?
Yes.
Okay out there?
We're fine. I'm fine. I'm in so much trouble.
The other
Barry. He doesn't want to. And maybe that's why the critics had a problem with this, is that as a character, he wasn't actively doing stuff. He wasn't going to do stuff. He kept running into things.
So, and you bring up a good point about like why the critics maybe didn't like this. I'm kind of thinking the critics didn't like it because of the real life issues surrounding Ezra Miller.
So you think the outside influenced the movie?
Like he's been charged with some pretty bad stuff. Like I saw a video of him like choking a girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that, assaulting her. So I don't know. I mean, like they were so far into this movie that they couldn't replace him when they, filmed this. There was talk about having the guy who plays Barry Allen in the TV version on the CW replace him. There's a big push by, the Flash fans to do that.
And not that I'm condoning choking, but just so you are right. I mean, if you go, there was other things out there. You say, he said, "Oh, well, this was supposed to be somebody dared me to do it," and they were standing right there while I did it. But then they filmed it and they turned into this other thing, and then they asked the director. I think it was the director. And they said, are you going to him off or whatever? And he's like, I cannot see anybody else playing this character. And that's why he kept him around. Because I
think they were just so far along into it that they could.
It could be that too. But they did that with Eric Stoltz, which is ironic because they referenced it in this movie. Eric Stoltz playing the Michael J. Fox character in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's kind of the exact same thing. And I don't know, maybe they wrote that in after the fact. That they thought, maybe we'll redo this with a different character. And
Eric Stoltz, actually, they filmed like maybe a few days with him, right? And then I think Steven Spielberg realized this guy's not Marty McFly. So they go back out and they cast Michael J. Fox behind Eric Stoltz's back, and then they reshoot everything with Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly.
Well, and did you watch the Michael J. Fox documentary?
No.
It's really good, by the way. But really, so just to clarify a couple of things there, he was originally cast. He couldn't get out of his Family Ties contract.
Okay.
So then they did Eric Stoltz, and to your point, then they completely realized there's no way he can do this. So then Barry Levinson or whatever went back to the producer of Family Ties and said, we absolutely need him to do this. Are you going to be, sue us or whatever? And so then Michael J. Fox agreed to do both at the same time, and he had an official driver, Teamster, pick him up at like 5 a.m, drive him to do the Family Ties thing, then drive him to go, and so he was being driven around nonstop all day long, getting 3 hours of sleep.
You get, we're doing a Flash review, and you're learning all about Back to the Future.
I know, but that one I thought was really interesting. Yeah. That's why I deviated there. Okay. But all right, back to the Flash. But and they do make a hell of a lot of references to it. I mean, that's why I thought this was a great movie, because they made all these like very funny, side comments about stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I was engaged through this whole movie.
Yeah.
So when it begins, Ben Affleck is saving saving. There's like an earthquake or something going on. A hospital is being destroyed. I think there was a bomb.
No, Alfred calls Flash.
Right.
Because Batman's doing something else.
Right.
And in fact, that was the funny thing with Jeremy Irons as Alfred. He kept saying, oh my God, I can't get anybody, You're the last one, Barry. Yeah. There's nobody else available.
Yeah, he's like, Barry's like, so was I the first call? He goes like, no, Wonder Woman was the first call. Or Superman was the first call.
Well, Batman was the first call.
And then
after
Wonder Woman was the next call.
Like, everyone else was busy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was even like another subtle joke about the Ezra Miller thing. Like, you weren't really like...
Because, like, the Flash is almost... Even when you're watching this, you're like, man, he's almost kind of disrespected.
I mean, that's the story of my life. No respect. I don't get no respect at all.
You know what I mean? Because maybe his powers don't seem to be up to snuff with the main three, but I mean he's very talented at what he does. I mean he's probably better than Cyborg, right?
I mean, and exactly. I mean, and this goes back to the whole Ezra Miller thing. I mean, it's like the guy is super talented, but he has all these other crazy characters, and Flash exactly the same thing. He's like super introverted, mom died, traumatic background, and not saying again justifying if anything that Ezra Miller did,
right?
But they are very clever in that they wrote things into this storyline that kind of echoes the actual actor.
So he saves all the babies from the hospital.
That was a funny sequence.
Yeah, and then
and the dog,
and then he has to help Batman on the bridge. And just when the Batman and the Flash think they're gonna fail, Wonder Woman steps in to help save the day.
Right.
I thought it was funny when she saved him with the lasso.
Right.
And then Batman starts saying, "I'm an egotistical guy. I'll never whatever."
I'm really introverted. Yeah. Or whatever. And he's like, "What's going on?"
He's like, "Oh my God, this lasso of truth is on me. I gotta get this
That
off."
was very... See, that's what I liked about it. That's why I gave it a high score. There was so many subtle, like, just humorous situations that came up. And that one, you didn't see it coming.
Right.
He just all of a sudden starts saying things.
So now he goes through the portal or whatever back into the multiverse, and he comes back here. So he's now dealing with himself. But he's like, to get this Barry his powers, he knows he's got to get him to this building where the
exactly
lightning comes.
The lightning randomly goes through a bunch of chemicals.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're paying homage to the original Flash. Yes. You can see kind of the lenticular cover. And we got a bunch of Flash in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting that one could create another Flash by randomly setting up.
But it took his powers away.
Well, it was implied, because it went through him into the other guy.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking, oh, that's it. He's transferred his powers to the other guy.
Yeah.
To the other Barry, who had slightly longer hair.
So in order to... now, of course, Zod in this universe is... just kicking butt, and what you're, he's like, well, where's Superman? Where's Superman?
Yeah.
Well, what you find out later on in this universe, Superman was actually killed by Zod as a kid. He was intercepted by Zod's team, and they killed Superman as a baby.
So
right.
Then...
So Superman's not there to defend. So he's like, we've got to go find Batman. Right.
Right.
So they go to Wayne Manor, and in Wayne Manor.
Well, no, they don't know this at this point that Superman is dead.
Well, no,
they think he's been captured.
That's true. That's true. He's just not showing up.
Right.
They're like, why is he not showing up?
And so Batman does his magic and locates something in Russia, and then they all go out there.
But let's talk about who this Batman is. It's not Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah, right.
Michael Keaton.
They brought him back. That was another great touch. I was kind of thinking in the trailer they only implied like a small little thing, but he had a huge part. I mean, he was.
So he's
obviously
he's like old man Batman. In fact, he's like Gotham City. He's like one of
we
them.
didn't put him up. He's not Frank Miller's Batman. He's even beyond that.
He's like, Gotham is like one of the most safest cities now. And like, they don't need me anymore.
He's walking around.
So he hasn't been around for like a long time.
He's in the mansion in his flip-flops.
Yeah.
making spaghetti.
Yeah. So, Barry says to Barry, well, we're going to go through the Batcave, and because I know about the Batcave, and we're going to use all Batman's computers and hardware to go find this, right?
Because Batman's like, I'm not involved.
Right.
I don't need to do this anymore. I'm like 63 at this point.
Yeah. But he comes down, or he's watching the guys on camera. I think he starts getting a little bit more and more inspired to go down and help out. So he goes down and helps out. And so the original Barry is like, I want to get my powers back, so I've got this idea. we're gonna, run electricity through the bat kite.
Right. At this point, though, they need the Supergirl.
Right.
They went out to Russia to find Superman, and they find Supergirl instead.
Was that before? I guess that was.
Because she has to be there. Remember, she carries them up to the light after the lightning falls.
That is right.
Yeah.
So first they do go to Russia before all this happens.
And I thought that was interesting because you didn't see that coming. I thought that was going to be Superman. They find him and then I was like, oh wait, it's Supergirl.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was going to be Superman only because I knew Henry Cavill wasn't in this. Unless they picked another Superman. And then we saw in the trailer Supergirl. We saw Supergirl flying along, so I knew it was going to be Supergirl.
You're going to pull her out.
Yeah.
But they did, well, I'll let you introduce the other Superman that they bring in. Yeah, when we get to that.
So
they go out there, grab her ass, you figure out, that she can, the exact same powers.
Right.
And, of course, she's hot. And then they fly all the way back to, I don't know, Gotham, Batcave, and then we get to this scene.
That's when Barry wants to get his powers back.
Right.
Batman flies the bat kite, like out there, like Benjamin Franklin. And, they put the chemicals all around him and stuff.
Now, I do have a problem with that particular thing. Like,
what?
Really, Batman? You have any idea what the random chemicals are.
Right.
With lightning. I mean, that part was kind of hokey.
Bruce Wayne, I think he would have, said, all right, let me put these chemicals into the computer and let's run the bat computer and let's see what the probability of this is.
Right.
He's just like, all right.
Just a random collection of whatever.
And in Michael Keaton fashion. All right. Yep. It was almost like, Beetlejuice talking,
Yeah.
You sure, kid?
So
can't talk you out of this, kid? Nope. Okay, let's do it.
All right. That was a little too convenient that he somehow can come up with the same random chemicals that somehow energize. A lightning bolt strike.
Yeah. Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Sleep!
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Sleep!
Lightning bolt!
That failed at first, so then Batgirl has to then, it was a big emotionally draw because he's zapped out of his blood.
You mean Supergirl.
Supergirl brings him up and then flies him through the clouds and then, he gets, well, for lack of a better description, bathed in lightning with her out there.
So I thought it was funny. So once he gets his powers back, Barry too decides, hey, here's your suit back. You're the original.
You're the original.
But I'm gonna go make mine out of a bat suit.
That was funny.
I'm spraying over the Batman logo and a Flash logo.
He's sawing off the ears.
Yes. I would have kept the ears, man, just because it's kind of cool.
That would have been cool. I was trying to think, how can I make that outfit for this particular video? What we do for our fans.
Yeah. So
that was funny.
Yeah.
And then,
so now they go to battle Zod, all of them together. And, man, they're all Kryptonians. I mean, they're...
Right.
I was wondering, because, in most worlds, Batman always has kryptonite available. In case...
That's true.
Superman goes rogue, he knows how to take out...
Right.
But, because there was no Superman in this world... Superman never lived. He was killed as an infant. This means this Batman never got to meet him and doesn't know about kryptonite.
And I assume they were using kryptonite to keep her in the cage, by the way. They never talked about it. But
what they did was they kept her from the sun. Which, Superman gets his powers from a yellow sun, right?
That's right.
I don't know, though, if you put Superman in a chamber like that away from the sun... for a long time if he loses his powers.
Or just wimp out.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that's what they were doing. And because I didn't see
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Because as soon as she gets into the sun, she's absorbing, the rays of the yellow sun. Right. So, but yeah, I didn't see any kryptonite. So, because if Batman had known, oh, these are a bunch of Kryptonians, I'm going to bring kryptonite and we'll take care of all these guys.
Just a couple of arrows, just like he did in Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to kill you?
Oh, you're not going to kill me. Now! It wasn't easy to make, Clark. It took years and cost a fortune. Luckily, I had both.
In every scenario in the first scenario, Batman dies, and then Supergirl dies. And so Barry 1 says, we can't do that. We're going to redo that. So he runs, he reverses time.
And he shows the other one how to do it.
Yeah. So now, they're trying it again.
And but they just couldn't do it the next time. And then they do it again.
Redo it. So they're like redoing it too much, right? And then they realize, like, no matter what happens, it's going to kind of finish this way with Supergirl dying and everything. And so that's when, like, Barry 1 realizes that, so he's about to give up. And Barry 2 is like, oh, no, we can't give up. So he keeps doing it. Like, and he's getting older and older as he's doing it.
Yeah, because Barry 1 is stuck in the interdimensional,
dashboard, if you will.
Dashboard of streaming channels. Yeah. Universal channels.
And he's looking like, look, it doesn't happen in any universe, right? But
right. And the other one's like, no, and then he just keeps coming back with more and different parts and everything. Right. And we should say when Barry 1 discovered that he got into the internet, he could interdimensionally go into different universes. There was some creature in there that attacked him and kept knocking him out.
Yeah. So finally, I think Barry 1 decides, you know what? This is a lost cause, trying to save my mom. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to have to accept it. Right. So he wants to go see her one last time. So he goes to her universe where when he had changed it, it's all about it like a jar of pickles or something, right? What was it? A jar of
spaghetti sausage.
Tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like
she forgot one thing, and then when her husband goes back, they all come back, and she's got like a knife stuck through her. That was a really bloody scene.
That was their butterfly effect. Him forgetting a jar of tomato sauce. Because of that, he leaves. His father leaves to go get another, and that's when our mom gets murdered. Now, here's my problem. Like, the Flash, Barry, he keeps trying to save his mom by simply putting in a jar of tomato sauce.
Right.
Right? And
into her cart after she's forgotten it.
At one point, don't you think you would say, all right, look, that doesn't work, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and just watch. Who is the killer of my mom? If it's not my dad, who is the killer?
I didn't even think about that, because where I thought you were going to go is that what ended up happening in the grocery store is he came back himself and kept changing things. Right. So the one that came in that said, I'm going to put this in here, then was like, no, then I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it back. So it was like a time weird, loop on a loop on a loop. And
right. So why not, instead of changing the future by putting in a can of tomato sauce, why don't you just go watch who is the killer of my mom?
And stop him.
And then stop him.
That's probably what the critics all hinge
right?
I didn't even think about that.
I'm watching it in the movie and I'm like, why doesn't he just go see who the killer is? Like, what if the killer was like the Joker or something? You know what I mean? Or you don't know who the killer is.
And that would have been a great.
Or you know what I thought?
A credit scene is showing who it was.
Or what if he goes to see who killed his mom and it really was his dad? Now that would blow your mind, right? I mean, he's been fighting for the innocence of his dad the whole time, and he finds out his dad is actually the killer.
And in the end. Yeah. He manipulates it and puts the jar up top so his dad looks up to get on video. But, that's a great point, because that is the problem with this whole entire movie, is there was a lot of, I think the writers backed themselves into corners, and they had to, come up with a clever way, and then just say, I hope the audience doesn't notice that, why didn't he just go and look at the who killed his mom, and why didn't he just go and...
Well, one thing we got to bring up is, so when Barry 1 is in that, like I said, the dashboard area of the multiverse, and Barry 2 keeps trying to do it over and over. Because he's doing it over and over, all these other dimensions start collapsing. And then that's where we see, oh my gosh, Christopher Reeve in one dimension with
Superman.
The Supergirl from the 80s, right?
The blonde.
I can't remember. Helen Rainey?
Slater.
Helen Slater. And then in another dimension, you see the Nicolas Cage. I was laughing so hard.
Just being a cameo. It took over 2 decades, but Cage's Superman lives again.
No, but we are here, so we might as well celebrate as much as we can.
Yeah, because I told my wife that, because that's because she didn't know what the reference was. And I'm like, I cannot believe they brought that in here.
Right.
Because he played, what did he do? He did one promo? Or
well, so what they did
it?
was they did, if you don't know the story about Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, one of our favorite movies, man.
In the 90s, Nicolas Cage was signed to play Superman. And so what they did was they brought Nicolas Cage in and they did a bunch of test shoots. And you'll see, we'll show you a picture of it, but they did test shoots of him in the costume and him doing some scenes. And, you know, they were all excited to do it. And Warner Brothers, I don't know, maybe they saw it and said, no way, this isn't going to work. But they canceled it.
And he had long hair
and
everything
long
too.
Hair.
I mean, it was hilarious.
Because what happened was, I think he had just finished filming Con Air, or he was in the middle of filming Con Air. So he had the long hair. So I don't know if they would have kept the long hair or not, but during the screening, you know, he had the long hair. And so they canceled it even after they had signed him and everything. Wow. So Nicolas Cage never ended up getting to play Superman.
I wouldn't.
And in fact, Superman is Nicolas Cage's favorite superhero of all time. In fact, he named his son Kal-El.
That's right.
His son is named Kal-El.
Kal-El.
Yeah.
You know, and I do really hope they did not tell him that they were going to put him in there, that his image in there. I mean, they probably, maybe they legally had to. Yeah. But I mean, still, that was so cool because a lot of people would not pick up on that reference, like, oh, it's another Superman. I'm like I've said, my wife, I'm like, that's, you know.
So you know what I was a little disappointed about?
Oh, you wanted more?
I did. So if they're going to show, you know, two different Supermen, they're going to show. They made reference to the
three
Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
Because you hear his voice. I would have loved to have seen Linda Carter. Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Because I was a huge Linda Carter fan. Would have loved to see.
I guess they figured we can only take this so far. We can't go and show all these alternates. But yeah, I mean,
that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
But
they just gave Gal Gadot all of it, and that was it.
I was also kind of hoping they would somehow tie in Green Lantern, but maybe they show like Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern or something. I was hoping for that. So then they go ahead and they fix the universe, right, and the multiverse, and then Barry ends up back in his dimension where he realizes he's running late for his dad's court session. So he runs there just in time where they show the video and it's his dad's face and he's exonerated.
Right.
And everybody's happy and he's out on the courthouse lawn or whatever,
and then
getting interviewed by, you know, we haven't even mentioned that throwaway character that they had of the girl, the journalist that was interested.
Oh, that he was like his girlfriend. Well,
right.
You know, because that's one thing they really stressed was he's awkward with the ladies.
Right.
I mean, that whole part, by the way, that they showed him Barry and his roommates.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And one of those girls is she's Irish. She's from the Dairy Girls. It's another whole spinoff, but she's
Anyways, he's getting interviewed, and then he gets a call. He looks at the caller ID, Bruce Wayne. Hey,
Bruce Wayne.
Barry, I'm pulling up right now. And he's like, all right. So you see the car pull up. All the reporters are out there.
A super slick Mercedes.
Yeah, and then through the crowd comes George Clooney. So I knew when
Did you know that was coming? Well, so I didn't catch that until it showed up. Like,
here's the thing. I said I knew it that they were going to not have Ben Affleck come out there. So like as that Mercedes pulled up, I'm like, are they going to have Michael Keaton, or would they dare put Christian Bale in this?
That's the only Batman I'm surprised they didn't make an appearance.
So I was like, could they possibly put Christian Bale? Because I was thinking it was going to be Christian Bale. When George Clooney comes, I started laughing too.
Yeah.
I was like a little disappointed. I was like, I rather would have had Christian Bale, but George Clooney, who's probably the worst of all the Batmen, you know, he comes walking out, but he's got charisma. He's like smiling it up and everything. And so I was laughing.
He's like, "Where's my Casamigos tequila?
Yeah.
Where's my coffee company? Whatever it is."
Barry's like, "Wait,
what?
You're Bruce Wayne?"
Right. It was a surprise though. For him. He had no idea that. So the whole point is he's not in the right dimension.
Right.
So I like that. I think unfortunately there was. I mean, I thought they did overall a really clever job with a lot of things. What they fell short was like the stupidity of not thinking things all the way through, like the stupid ending credit thing. With the Aquaman, I was like, "What's the point of that?"
Everybody's mad about that.
I mean, what was the point?
Everybody's mad about that.
0 point. And then others, like you brought up, the whole thing about, like, why didn't you just go and see who the killer was?
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like the writers were like not thinking it through.
That didn't meet their script's needs. So that wasn't even explored.
I mean, ironically, the thing with the dog falling down at the end, that was more. They should have just ended it there. They should not have put anything else.
Yeah.
The dog falling, and he had to catch the dog and help it out. And the dog's like, I was like, wow, that CGI is really good. What happened to the CGI? Remember when they were in the dashboard area? Yeah. Everything was like almost like weirdly like cartoonish.
Yeah.
Like, why are you, why would you spend so much effort on the baby scenes and putting all the, like the dog and the tongue and all this, and then you would do the dashboard and it looks like some kid did it.
Yeah. I thought so if you're going to do an end scene and you just showed George Clooney, what would have been cool is if, like, the end scene was him talking to George Clooney, Bruce Wayne, and him saying, I just don't think this is the right dimension. And then suddenly walks in Alicia Silverstone, and, she played Batgirl in the George Clooney one.
Right, and Christopher, or what was the guy's name?
Chris McDonald, or
Chris
whatever.
McDonald.
Or whatever. Is it not, or what's his name? Chris?
Yeah, that would have been funny.
If he walks in as Robin, right?
Right.
And they're like, what's the scoop? What's going on? I hear we're in the wrong dimension.
And then Aquaman, like, shows up drunk. Or, like, they're all hanging out in a bar. And then Aquaman, I mean, that would have made more sense.
Well, see, because if he's in the wrong dimension with George Clooney, then Jason Momoa shouldn't be there. Unless, you know what I'm saying?
Unless Jason's in the wrong. And, well, see, that's the problem with that end credit. You don't know what, is it that dimension he just left, or is it a different thing altogether? Because you're right. Why would he be there? There should have had somebody, would have been more potent as an ending? Somebody else playing Aquaman.
Tom Cruise with blonde hair walks in.
That would have been hilarious. Oh my God, would that have been funny? Hey, Tom Cruise.
I'm Aquaman. Or like Keanu Reeves or something.
God.
Just like, I'm Aquaman.
They could, and they oh man, that is hilarious. They missed so much.
Because that ending was horrible the way it was.
Oh my God.
Make it to where the crowd is just laughing.
Carey as Aquaman.
They're just laughing there. Or like Ryan Gosling, walks in. He's like Aquaman.
They could have done that entire scene the way it should, like exactly the way they did it with somebody else. Like falls in a puddle. Oh my God, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, so it just that end credit scene just made no sense, and it was not that funny. So that I have a problem with that. I mean, like I said, this wasn't a perfect movie. And it had a lot of flaws, but I was entertained the whole way through. I laughed.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good story. I took my dad to see that for Father's Day.
I went with my son, my 18-year-old, and my wife, and they both enjoyed it.
My dad enjoyed it. So we had a great time. It was a great popcorn flick.
Yeah, I mean, the critics went after, obviously, all the details that we highlighted, but, I mean, still, you got to look at the entertainment value. I mean, were you entertained?
Yeah.
Or was it like... There was no sleepy parts in this whole thing.
No, I was entertained the whole way through.
I mean...
And engaged the whole way through. So, well, I want to know what the Cult Lords viewers think. I gave it an 8-1, you gave it a 9-0.
Yeah.
What do you think, Cult Lords viewers?
Please tell us.
We want to hear what you think. What did you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? What did you find good about this movie? What did you find bad about this movie? Were you able to overlook the Ezra Miller thing? Once the movie started, I overlooked it. You know what I mean? Because I just wanted to enjoy the movie. So, yeah, tell us what you think after you hit subscribe, hit like, Tell us in the comments what you think about this movie. So, all right, Dane. Why don't you get us out here in a flash?
Oh, I was going to put my ears up.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, 3, peace out!
Wait, you need some food to energize.
Oh, that's right. I'm not drinking that. Yeah. Peace out, everybody!